हाय फ्रेंड्स। आज का हमारा डीएसए प्रैक्टिस का डे 1 है। और इसके अंदर हम लोग सबसे पहले जो टॉपिक उठाएंगे वो है स्ट्रिंग्स। सो वी विल पिक द string related questions and we'll go in a mode. First of all, we'll try to solve easy questions, then we'll go for the medium, and then we will go for the hard level questions. Okay, so mostly I will be picking up the questions only from the lead code and the most popular one. So my target is, for the DSA practice, we will be solving around 300 to 400 questions, which will be enough to crack any of the FANG interview questions. So let's jump into the first question. So question is something we have to remove outermost parenthesis. So let's say if we have given got the string something like this thing. So at this particular point, so if we want to remove the outermost parenthesis, so this parenthesis will be get removed. So this is the pair of this parenthesis, so this will also be get removed. Similarly for this two parentheses, so our end result will be empty string without a space. Similarly, like if we take the example like so, what will be the output? We need to remove the outermost, only the outermost parenthesis. So we need to remove this one, this one, this one, and this one, and the result will be. You are getting my point? Like we need to focus only into removing the outermost, and that too in the ON space. Okay. So for this, there are two ways of solving the questions. One is we do have two ways of solving the questions. One is we can take the counter, like some variable which we will be using as soon as we found the outermost or the outermost parenthesis. And the second way, we can solve it by using stacks. So stacks is little bit complicated in nature, for at least for solving this particular questions, and it's a kind of overkill. So probably like we don't need to go to the stack solution. We can easily solve it by using the counter variables. So let's see how ideally like we should be approaching this particular question. So let's just take the example this and this. Okay, so let's say if this is the particular string, and if we are correct, let's give it a indexes 0 1 2 3. If we are going through the string dot to char array, so these will be the indexes. So suppose, and let's say we have taken a counter or a flag. Let's take it as a term of count. So we initially kept it as a 0. First, now we are iterating to s at the 0th index. So 0th index, the character which we found is this. Okay, at this particular point of time, we do have the count as is equals to 0. Okay, so what we are going to do, we will say count plus plus. Okay, we don't need to remove yet because we don't know like where will be the paired closing brackets will be coming for this. Next item we will move to this one. when we are moving to this one, we'll say, so we have again found this, but this time the count is not equals to 0. So we will again do the count plus plus. So our now the count value will become here, it is 1, it will become 2. Now when this closing parameter comes, closing character comes, we will check if the count is greater than 1. If the count is greater than 1, why we have selected the greater than 1? Because as soon as we take the first open bracket, we have increased the counter value to the 1. So obviously for the closing bracket we have to keep the check, like if it is only when it is greater than 1, then only we need to like ignore it. Otherwise if the count is equals to 1, then definitely we need to remove it. Okay, if the count is greater than 1, then remove it. Okay, sorry, then we can reduce the count value of the count. So right now the count value is 2, so we will do count minus minus when this case is true. Okay, so we have come to the third point. Now when we are coming to the fourth point, this, does the count value is the count value is greater than 1? No, it is equals to 1. So we should not take this particular character we can avoid it. Okay, so our logic can become, so we need to ignore this one when the count is 0, and we need to ignore this one when the count is 1. So we do have an understanding, if the count is equals to 0 and if we encounter with this particular open brackets, then while creating the string we should ignore. Similarly, if the count value is equals to 1 and at that time if we encounter the closing bracket, then we should ignore. So using these two logic, we will be finding the solution for this. So what the solution will become, let's say we created a for loop, char c, let's say we do have a string str equals to this. Okay, str dot to char array. Okay, so in this for loop we will say if c equals open braces, then what we needed to do, we will have the one integer variable int count equals to 0. So in this check we will see if count equals 0, then we will simply do the count plus plus. Okay, else, now how if we are taking the each character and we finally needed to output the result of the string, and how we can use that thing, we can using the string builder. So we needed to create another object over here. Let me write it in a more better way so that it will be easier to understand for everyone. So let's say we do have a function string remove outer bracket, where we will be getting feeded with the one of the string. Okay, so here first of all one count we will be initializing with 0. One is the another string builder object we will be creating, sb equals to new string builder. That's it, no more variables we needed to create. Now simply go to the for loop, char c str to char array if c equals to this, then here what we needed to do, here we will say if count equals to 0, then do the count plus plus. We'll write in a more better way. If count is greater than 0, then what we will do, string builder dot append character. We will append the character, and then what we are going to say, count plus plus. Why I wrote this something like this, because even though if it is 0, we needed to increase the count, or if we are greater than 0, then also we need to increase the count. So why to write two times? We can write it single time. If it is greater than 0, we will simply append. If it is not greater than 0, that is in the initial case, this will not be get executed, and only the count plus plus will happen. And in the else case, because we do have only two types of characters, so we do not need to write else if logic. In the else case, we will simply see, like, if count is greater than 1, then what we are going to do, string builder dot append character, okay, from this if logic. Otherwise, or count minus minus. So if the if logic is successive, then we will do the append. Otherwise, we will simply do the count minus minus. When this will be, only this will be executed when we do have the count equals to 0. Sorry, count equals to 1. And when we have having the count equals to 1, it will be get executed, and the for loop will be executed. Finally, after this for loop, we will simply return sb.toString. Let's do the another dry run. So suppose we do have only this as an input string. So initially count equals to 0, we will create the string builder to the character array. First, this character I'll write small c. Okay, if it is open bracket, yes, we have found the open bracket. What is the value of the count? Count value equals to 0. It will not append, it will do the count plus plus. So on this particular point, there is in the string builder no element is got appended, but the count value will become 1. Now we are coming here in the closing bracket. In the else case, if logic is not passing, so it will simply do the minus minus, and it will be count will become 0. The for loop get over because there is no more characters in this string. So the final result will be the empty string. Okay, we'll take another example. We'll take little complex. 3 open and okay. So our expected output should be correct. So here count at this particular point, count value is 0. Count is 0. So count is 0. So it will only append. So it is appended to 1. I'll mention count, and I'll mention string builder. What is feeded in circles. So it is not, nothing is there, and we are having here count is increased to, and what we will be feeding, string builder. We will do the append on bracket. At this particular point, count will become 3. We are feeded with this. At this particular point, count will minus, as well as we need to append. Count will become 2. We will close the bracket. At this particular point, count will become 1, and we will close this. At this particular point, if it is 1, so on the 1 we do not need to append, we just need to do the minus, and we are coming at the 0. Okay, so our end result will become this thing. So I hope you understand the logic And if it is still there is any issue, like please write me in the comment. I'll try to answer you all your queries. Thank you.